How we doing, everybody, and welcome to Mainline Baits Carp Fishing TV. Now, you join me at a lake that I've been lucky enough to fish a couple of times in the past, and it's the Pump House Syndicate in Peterborough, one of the Embryo waters. Now, admittedly, I've not been back for about probably 3 years. When I fished it last, lots and lots of carp in here, but the biggest I've managed was about 25 pound. There were a couple of fish that had been caught over 30, but now things have vastly changed. That one that I caught at 25 pound, for instance, is now 34 pound, I believe, and there are lots of other 30s to go with it, and I think the lake record stands at a smidge under 37 pound. But it's not just the size of these carp. You've got commons, you've got linears, you've got fully scaled mirrors, scaly ones, plain ones, you name it. There is a lovely mix of fish in here and some very, very special carp to be caught. Now, I got down early this morning, but there are already 3 other members of the syndicate on, so being only 7 swims on the lake, I've had a good walk around in the remaining swims to make sure that I pick the best of the ones that are left. Right down at the far end of the lake, I did see a single fish show tight to the reeds, but then when I stood in this swim, a swim known as the remark, I saw so much fizzing out in the, not quite middle, just probably 3/4 of the way across. There were clearly lots and lots of carp present. So with it being what feels like one of the very first really warm days of the year, this swim's got a bit of everything. I've got deep water in front of me where I saw those fish fizzing. I know that the margins shallow up nicely though, leading into some reed beds, and that is just the perfect ambush point for some spring carp looking to feel that heat for possibly the first time of the year. I've already clipped my rods up, I've had a good lead around. I'm going to be fishing almost all the way across to the far margin over a nice spread of bait. Everything's ready to go. I've just got to put some fresh hook baits on and start fishing. Let's hope we can catch a couple. Tiny bit of cloud cover. Not that any should miss the clip at that range, but all of them have gone absolutely perfect. I like it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, I can't believe that. I'm still leaving the lines to settle. I've not even clipped the bobbins on, and I'll be honest, I was sat in my bivvy watching a video on a Rob Burgess update on a Matches Fishing Abroad, and I heard a clutch and I thought it was his. Then realised it was my right-hand rod. I did not expect to bite that quickly over, I think I put 12 or 13 spoms of bait out there. Rods have followed it out. They've been out there 10 minutes, tops. It's just going round into that bay. I'll talk you for a little bit about my decision making on why I've fished, where I've fished. As you can see out to the left, the area that I'm in sweeps around into a lovely little bay, and I know the fish like getting right in them reeds. Now, you could fish over to them, but I think if you do that, you could hook one and spook them all out. So I thought by fishing straight out, I'm giving them somewhere to still sit and sort of hold up, and thankfully, somewhere to catch them from as well. Doesn't feel particularly big, but I really don't care. That is a really good sign to get a bite that quickly. lovely mirror. Look at that. Oh, look, that'll do. That will do. Come on, get over that net, yes. Get in. What a start. And I thought, I'm gonna be honest, I thought the fish was gonna be much smaller than that. Wicked start. Should get the bobbins on these rods and turn the alarms on, I guess. Well, as I've had such a quick bite over as much bait as I put out, makes me think there might be an opportunity. So before the rod's gone back out, I've just put 3 spods back over the top, get the rig back out straight away, keep them feeding, and hopefully we keep catching. Rod back out. Let's find out how big it is, shall we? Well done, monkey. What a start. That is why I wanted to get the rod back out there quickly. I figured that to have one that quickly, there must be more fish sat out there. So by getting the rod back in position over a few more spods of bait, you're fishing again very quickly, and the same rod has gone again. Get that into your fishing, and I'm telling you, it will put you bonus fish on the bank. Okay, I've had 2 very quick bites on the same hook bait. Both have come on 2 grains of IB yellow imitation corn. So it could be quite easy to quickly put another rod over to that. But before I make that decision, it could also be that it's been the right-hand rod that's gone twice, which is the nearest rod to a massive structure in the water. So it's something that the fish could be sort of holding around, drifting over the bait, and this is the first thing they come to. So in order to try and cross one of those things off, the right-hand rod now is going to be the Isofish dumbbell with a little pink tipper. The yellow corn's going to go back in the middle, and if the yellow goes again, that's when we'll start playing with hook baits. Oh, it's a good drop on that side of the spot, there's no doubt about it. How about that? When I booked myself back onto this lake, I spoke to Rob Willingham, who runs a lot of the embryo booking side of things and syndicate tickets back in the office, and I asked for a prediction, and he said to me, you're going to catch a 30-pounder. You're right, Rob. First bite, I think it's a fish called twin scale or 2 scale, 30 pound 4 ounces, and the result of a nice big bed of bait with 3 rods on the spot. And I had a quick fire second bite by getting the rig back out, topping up the spot, and I had that mad little half common, half fully scaled at 20 pound 12 as well. So we are off to the absolute perfect start. We've still got 2 nights to go yet. What a day. But after the hectic start, it all went very quiet. So rather than just leaving the rods on the spots for the night, I reeled them all in, freshened them all up, a bit more bait out, and I've had a bite almost straight away. Sometimes if you feel like you should be catching and you're not, have a recast. It can make all the difference. This fish, it held itself out deep from where I hooked it and it kited around massively. I'm really worried that it's going to get round this reed bed, so I'm trying to keep the tip nice and low, keep the line sort of in the water at all time, and just hope that by keeping steady side strain, I'm going to get it this side of the reeds. Oh look, it's kited left, it's kited left. Oh no, it's a mirror. It's a mirror. I was sure that was a common. How mad. Some shoulders on it though. Get in. Yes. Oh, what a battle. What a battle. Another lovely carp. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I said it felt like a good fish as soon as I picked the rod up. It just held its ground out at range. But I did not expect to be seeing one of the biggest carp in the lake in the bottom of my net. 35 pound on the button. When you think as well, it's possibly the first time this lake has ever seen the ISA fish, and they are eating it that quickly. 3 bites in relatively quick succession, a couple of 30-pounders. What a trip this is turning out to be. Can't believe it. One last little touch. The bites just keep coming. They are loving that bait. I think it's well-positioned bait, well-positioned rig. That's all you need. Accuracy is what it's all about. Putting everything where they want to eat it. You get that right more often than not, and you will catch plenty, as long as your hook's sharp. Lovely. This is carnage, carnage. Really feels good when a trip starts to come together. We've been fortunate enough to start catching from the off, but once you get into this situation, you're getting regular bites. It's about pressing repeat as much as you possibly can, keeping that bait going in, making sure that rig goes back on exactly the same spot, and just see how many of these amazing carp we can catch. We will fish long and hard into the night, see if it keeps on going. that little flurry towards the back end of yesterday. Once I got those rods back out last night, I was convinced I was going to get an opportunity through the night as well, but didn't happen. The odd little bleep here and there. I can't say I'm disappointed though. I've had a wicked trip, and it meant after an early start yesterday, I could at least get a good few hours kip. But I was up at first light. It could just be, because I'm fishing up the shelf, it could just be that they're going to creep in as the daylight comes, coming into that shallower water, and I wanted to make sure that should that happen, that everything is set perfectly. So I got up at first light, redid all the rods, nice fresh hook baits on there as well, and then just put 7 or 8 spods out over the top. Now, because I was fishing 3 rods so close together, I'm sure that if the fish had cleaned me out, I would have caught something. So whilst I do think there was bait out there sitting on the bottom still, I wanted something fresh out there. You saw the mix I've been using. It's got lots of smart liquid in. It's got some of the ground bait on top of it as well. And that means that once you're spodding it out, you're creating not only a nice bed of bait on the bottom, but you've got a whole area of attraction up and down the water column. And I'm convinced that if the carp swim into that, it's going to spur them to perhaps drop down and have a look for the actual food source. And whether that's the reason or not, I don't really know, but it's certainly not done me any harm, because within 20 minutes of being set, the right-hand rod was away and I landed relatively small, but like a mid-double common, absolutely perfect, a lovely little carp. And whilst I was actually re-wrapping that rod to get it back out, the left-hand rod went, so the whole spot is now starting to do bites. And that was a beautiful, beautiful mirror of just over 20 pounds. So the perfect start to the morning. I haven't actually recast those rods yet because it was the right and the left that went. The middle one is sat absolutely prime. So before I make any more disturbance, I'm just going to give that another 10 or 15 minutes on the spot on its own and then press repeat. Like I said, it's about pressing repeat when you're getting it right. So soon I'll have 3 rods back out, another few spods of bait out, and hopefully we can bag ourselves another whacker. How about that for an absolute cracker? Beautiful carp, just under 20 pound, fully scaled mirror. They don't come along very often, and no matter their size, you've got to appreciate when they look as good as this. Now, this one actually came, I was getting liners over the spot, and then all of a sudden they stopped, so I figured they might have eaten a lot of the bait. So a quick top up, just 3 spods, bang on the money, and within 10 minutes, this one managed to find the hook bait. I keep going on about the isofish, I keep going on about the mix I'm putting out there. I haven't actually shown it to you yet. So we'll get this one back and I'll talk you through exactly what's gone in the spod mix. I was literally about to show you my mix. I've had a bite on the right-hander again, and it is, well, it was trying to take line. None of the others have done that. I've been fishing locked up. But as soon as I get it in the net, I promise I'll show you the bait. Oh, here it goes again, here it goes again. Oh, it's so close to them reeds. Not sure if he's all the way round yet. I could see them reeds knocking. Yes, hello Giz. You coming to help me, mate? My little good luck charm, aren't you, Gizzy? It's moving too quick to be a big un. I'm going with, commons always seem to fight hard. I'm going with a 20 pound common. That's the most I've been beasted out of any of these fish. The big un held out there, but never felt like this. Couldn't get it away. Still far from over. Another lovely scaly one. That has absolutely beasted me. How have you done that? Unreal. The bait's clearly doing the talking for itself. I will run you through the mix in a minute, but at the moment, the bites keep coming. As soon as I get a chance to put a bit more out, I'll run you through it before I do. This feels like a good fish. It's just plodding, but it's going well right, and it's gonna go round these reeds. I need a little bit of luck, I think, to get this back. Come on. Slow and steady wins the race. Just trying to go nice and steady. Whilst I've got to keep pressure on the line and on the fish, you never know what is sitting on the bottom of reed stems, and if there's zebra mussels, a really tight line will touch it and it's like razors, it will just cut through it. So I'm just staying steady on it without exerting too much, just in the hope if it does go round the reeds, keeping a firm and tight line will allow it just to come back round the other side. And the reason the tip's under the water is I don't want my line going through the reeds, I want it to be going around the base of them. I can feel my line grating. I don't want to lift the tip up yet, and I don't know how far around the reeds it is. Slow and steady, that's all I can keep doing. Whilst I'm gaining line, I'm just going to do what I'm doing. Now he's taking line. He's trying to go back in. Don't do that, mate. Oh, it looked like a good one then. Come on, I'm tired, you must be. Yes! Good one. Right, I've straight away got that rod back on the spot. I'm desperate to put some more bait out, but I promised you that I'd finally go through it. So here's the mix. It's quite a simple mix. I start off with 2 different size boilies. On this trip in particular, I've gone for the little 10 millers because I love having small bits of food source like that down in my mix. And I've got some 15 millers in there as well. Now, once I've put the 15 millers into the bucket, what I then do is just grab a few handfuls out, crushing them between my fingers, so I'm getting halves, I'm getting quarters, I'm getting bits of crumb in there as well, so that every time the carp's eating and it's sucking and blowing, things are moving at different rates, and you're giving it more to think about. That's why I like to have some different size morsels within the bait. Once I've got them mixed up together, I then add some of the matching Isofish pellets. I've got a good few scoops of that in there as well. Again, creates a nice carpet of food. As they start to break down, it leaves a legacy on the spot, so they're constantly coming back, trying to hoover up every single bit of food that you've got down there. Lastly, from a food particle point of view, I put in about half a big tin of sweet corn in there as well. Get it all mixed up before getting the Isofish Smart Liquid in this case. Put quite a lot of it on. I like that to soak onto the boilies. That stuff is like a fatty food source, so it works up and down the water column, and I truly believe that if a carp swims through that at any depth, once it hits their gills, once they taste it, they tend to sort of go down and start to look for what's causing it, and hopefully you're creating that feeding situation. And then finally, once that's all mixed up, I'm tipping just a little bit of the matching ground bait over the top. Once again, because of that Smart Liquid, there's constant little bit of food, little bits of particles of food up in the water column, bringing them down to the spot. And one thing's for sure, they certainly like the stuff. I think I've had 10 bites now. It's been utter carnage. I'm sure there's more to be had, so I hope that gives you a good little run through. The rod's back out. I'm going to set the bob in and get a few spods of this out there as well. With the bobbin on and the carp safely resting in the net, it was important to top that spot up and keep the area as attractive as possible. It only took a few minutes to prime the spot with bait ready for another bite, keeping the wheels in motion, so to speak, before taking a look at another mega pump house carp. What a session this is turning out to be. Another 30 pounder, 32 pound of just mega carp. There's only so many superlatives you can use for the carp in this lake. Another 30 pounder. I also had a 19 pound, 14 ounce fully scaled mirror as part of an almost double take. But it's the importance of baiting with that regularity, keeping it going in accurately and getting them rods back out onto that spot as quickly as possible. What a trip. Look at that. Yeah. With this lovely carp safely released, it wasn't long before I was bent into another fish. Once again showing just how important it is to recast a fresh hook bait quickly after a bite and to keep that spot topped up with bait. So, with another carp unhooked and rested in the net, that's exactly what I did. Wrapped up the rod, attached a fresh hook before getting the hook bait back on the money. Well, what a busy old day it's been. It feels like the fish have been out there in fits and starts. That I've not had sustained feeding on me all day, but when they turn up, we get amongst them. A few smaller ones this morning, and then a bit of a break, the odd random bite, and then this evening, I've had another 30 pounder, absolute lovely carp of 32 pound, and I thought that was it for the day. So I've got the rods all redone for the night ahead, put a little bit more bait out. Like I keep saying, ringing that dinner bell, repetition, getting the rods back on the spot, topping the bait up, and then had another big one, just a few minutes ago, 29.12, so almost at the 30 pound mark as well. And I'm now convincing myself that because my last two bites were both big uns, that there's a few big uns out there for the night ahead that they're gonna disturb my slumber. But for now, I'm gonna get myself a bit of dinner and get some shut-eye. Ain't we? Yes, we're tired. Well, it was a quiet night again. Hardly any bleeps either, the odd one, but we had a big wind swing yesterday and it's now blowing out of this bay straight down the other end of the lake. So part of me thinks some of the fish would have left the area. The other part of me believes that because of that bit of structure in the water over there, that there is still going to be some fish present. So I'm going to do exactly the same as I did yesterday morning after a quiet night. I've reeled all three in, wrapped them all up, fresh hook baits on all three. I'm going to get them back out on the spot. And I'm gonna, probably won't put as much bait out as I did yesterday morning. I'm just gonna put 5 or 6 spods out in the zone, more than enough to nick 1 or 2 if they are about. We're gonna give it fish for a few hours this morning, and yeah, it'd be nice to round the trip off with another carp, but if we don't, certainly not complaining about what I've caught so far. Less talking, eh? Getting back out there. At this stage in the session, clipping up the rods and recasting fresh hook baits before topping up the spot with fresh bait was a well-practiced and now proven process. I had the utmost faith in the pulling power of my Isofish spod mix, but with the session drawing to a close, was there time for one more bite? It wasn't long before I had the answer. Whoa, that was a bit hairy. It was the right hand rod again. Held ground, started to kite right, and then I had to give it line, but it was going away from me, so it was getting, I was worried it was going to get past that pump house, and then it came back. But thankfully I was fishing locked up, so it's not got enough line to be able to do that. But now it's trying to get round these reeds. John, I need to be where you are, mate. Right, we're in the same possible predicament as yesterday, where it's now done a massive kite round into this bay, and where that bay cuts around this reed bed, I'm trying to keep my line buried so that it doesn't go through the reeds. And if I can just keep a tight line and keep drawing it back slowly, my line is just running around the outside. I'll check my line angling a bit, because it might be kiting out, it might be doing me a favour. Oh, now the geese are there as well. There it is, look, right on the tip of them reeds. It's nearly come all the way round. This is why, where possible, I use the strongest line I can get away with, just in case you come up against this sort of obstacle. So I'm using 17-pound long chuck. Like I say, it does sound like a heavy line. It is a heavy line, but it casts beautifully and has got incredible abrasion resistance. So lots and lots of faith in it. Come on, keep coming. You've got to be close to coming back my way. It's right on the tip of them reeds, but still just round the other side, and still pulling my arm off as well. Was that it there, or was that the coot? Oh yes, 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 look at that. Well, patience has paid off. He spent all that time trying to stay in them reeds, but once he was away from them, he's now kited lovely out and around into open water, and now he's under the tips. Another epic battle. It's a lovely, hard fighting common. Look at him. He looks well cool. No, I've missed you. Get in, yes, yes. Every fish you land is a great feeling, but when you've had a proper battle with one, they always feel extra special. What a ruck. Get in. When you fish free rods on a spot, nice and tight, and the fish turn up, this is what can happen. That lovely common in the net, middle rod's gone. Unfortunately, it's powering round the other side, so it's like a reverse battle of the last one. Oh my God, these fish. Wouldn't mind if it was doing it out there. It's just level. Got weed on it, I think. I've had 2 bites this morning, and they have both been the most incredible of battles. Incredible. Another lovely scaly carp. I've got no words left. I have enjoyed this trip so much. It's been incredible. Yes. as endings go to trips, they don't get much better. A quick fire double bite, double take, call it what you want. A lovely common of just over 29 pound, and this one, an absolute fraction under 30. Another beautiful scaly mirror. It's been an amazing couple of nights down here at Pump House, showcasing the new range of Isofish bait, the boilies, the pellet, and all the liquids that go with it. And when you consider the lake has never seen that bait before, it goes to show just how effective it is. Worst bit of the trip now though, I know there's still fish out there, but I've got to reel in, I've got to get on my toes and get home. All that's left for me to say is thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure, if you haven't already, give it a like, and make sure you subscribe to the Mainline Baits YouTube channel. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you again very soon.